Justice. Criminal charges have been filed against the 4 teens who streamed their despicable torture of a mentally disabled man on Facebook Live Tuesday afternoon. Jordan Hill, Tesfaye Cooper, and sisters Brittany and Tanishia Covington are each facing hate crime, kidnapping, unlawful restraint, and battery charges. The 18-year-old victim was friends with Hill, who picked him up on Saturday in what turned out to be a stolen van. After spending the next few days in the van, they drove to the Covington sisters' West Side home on Tuesday. It was here that a play fight escalated and the violence began. After being bound and gagged, the victim was beaten, taunted, and tortured for hours. He was also made to walk on all fours and forced to drink water from a toilet, and only escaped after the perps went to confront a neighbor who complained about the noise. The poor teen was so shaken by his ordeal he was hospitalized, but has since returned home to his family. Authorities sought hate crime charges because of the victim's mental capacity and the suspect's racist statements. And though many online blame the Black Lives Matter movement for the incident, no connection has been made by police. Still, there are others who have used the Black Lives Matter movement as an excuse for their attacks on white victims. Here's some of them. White high school student beaten up over pro-police comments. A 17-year-old Alabama high school student is recovering in a hospital after authorities say he was beaten up after a homecoming football game last Friday night. Police say witnesses said the attack may have stemmed from an argument at the school last week. The dispute was reportedly over pro-police content 17-year-old Brian Ogill was posting on his Facebook page. Authorities said a large group of students gathered in the parking lot of the Old Ace Hardware around 10 p.m. last week. Police believe 1 or more black teens then assaulted Ogill. When police arrived, they discovered the victim bleeding from his head. The teen was eventually airlifted to UAB Hospital, where he's in critical condition recovering from head injuries. His mother said he had his skull cracked open in a few places, as well as trauma to the brain.
Cops released video of veteran beaten in what he says was a racially motivated attack. Video just released by police shows a teenager punching Iraq War veteran Chris Marquez from behind as he leaves a McDonald's in Washington, D.C. Marquez is then seen struggling on the floor. The teenager appears to take some of his belongings while others kick him. Marquez, who served 8 years in the Marine Corps and was awarded the Bronze Star, suffered multiple cuts and bruises. He said his attackers surrounded his table and started arguing with him. They asked him if Black Lives Matter, and when he ignored them, they called him a racist. Marquez was treated at a hospital for head trauma and an eye contusion. DC police have identified 3 people as persons of interest in the crime and are seeking the public's assistance in identifying and locating them.
What you don't want to talk about regarding Mike Brown could get you beat up in St. Louis. A video was uploaded to Facebook Friday night showing a group of young black men assaulting a lone white passenger aboard the St. Louis light rail. The victim recalled details of the attack in an interview with KMOV News. One of the assailants asked the victim if he could borrow his cell phone. He then asked what he thought about the Mike Brown situation. The man declined both requests, prompting one of the other thugs to unleash a fury of sucker punches on the victim. The cell phoneless, not-so-civil rights conversationalist then threw a weak jab which was followed up by another round of swats and a kick from the first guy. The assailants leapt off the metro at Forest Park Station, but cops have these headshots which will hopefully be upgraded to official mugshots soon. What's also disappointing is the lack of action from other commuters who could even be heard snickering in the video. Some are calling this a hate crime. Do you think the violence was motivated by racial prejudice? Maybe the victim and the assailant should try racing together over a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
See a story that really should be animated? Suggest stories to TomoNews now.